What's up guys, this is Miasin. So I've been hyping the Yubel deck for quite a long time, and now it's finally time to show you guys my combo video and deck profile. This deck I think is going to be the best deck of the format until we get Rage of the Abyss. Then we're going to have the Azamina engine, which is going to change things up, and it's going to make the Snake Eye deck much better, potentially better than Yubel. And we're also going to have some indirect support to Tenpai in the form of Dominus Impulse and Molchimi Furoros. So if they have that many more cards to counter Yubel, we're gonna be in a world of hurt. Anyways, before we go any further into these combos, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Alright, combo number one, all we need is Samsara D Lotus. I can't believe this deck was actually played by Marshall D in the NAWCQ. But anyways, normal summon this and then use its effects. So tribute it, summon your Spirit of Yubel, which can set the Nightmare Pain. So that mitigates a little bit the impact of Droll and Logbird. And then destroy your Spirit of Yubel, and then Spirit of Yubel is going to be summoning Yubel, so that's going to be summon number 3. Summon number 4 is going to be Gravescormer, and then destroy your Yubel, whatever, and then summon the Terra Incarnate. There is no way your opponent is going to nib you at this point, so you're going to summon Moon of the Close Sky. This is going to be your the window where your opponent can nib you, but it's not going to matter because you can still summon Phantom of Yubel, and you can use the Graveyard effect of Gravescormer, revive back a monster, and pretty much still kind of play from there, so you can make a Yama, and then search Shavara, and at least make like Unchained Soul of Rage. I don't really have to showcase it, but obviously depending on what else you have in your hand, Nibiru doesn't really beat this combo. It beats Dark Beckoning Beast if you have nothing else, but Samsara is very resilient to Nibiru, and also very resilient to Droll and Logbird, which is, yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that a Droll doesn't even beat a one-card combo because you get to set the Nightmare Pain, and that's what really matters. Anyways, now we're going to be summoning the Phantom of Yubel, so from here on out, hand traps are no longer really of any use unless your opponent has multiple of them. Link off into the Link 1, summon the Fiendsmith, and then equip so you can summon your Necrocrypt Princess, revive back the Fiendsmith. It's actually a really good step that you make the Necrocrypt Princess early, by the way, because now if you revive back your Fiendsmith from the grave, and your opponent has either Ghost Bell or DD Crow, you get to draw one card off of your opponent's hand trap, so that's pretty nice. And also, if you had Fiendsmith Engraver in your hand, at this point you could also use Engraver, search Tractus, and then draw a card in the process, which just replenishes your hand. Make sure that you have enough extenders to push through what your opponent has, or make sure that you draw into hand traps so that on top of having a big board, you also have hand traps, which is, you know, impossible to beat. But yeah, link off, or rather exceed into Ptolemy 7, recycle back the Engraver, and then discard, Surge Detractus. This step isn't that much of a necessity. If you don't want to play this, then you can pretty much skip that, but you're gonna miss out on the DSE ray at this point, because we don't have enough Light Fiend. So the Ptolemy 7 allows us to just have more bodies in rotation, or rather just one extra Light Fiend. That's honestly all it really does. Apart from that, yeah, it's kind of useless. Anyways, Gravescormer, revive back Spirit of Yubel, and then link off into Yama, which searches Sharvara, and then sequence target the DSE ray, and then summon another Phantom Yubel, and link off into Unchained Soul of Rage, Sharvara destroy, and then Chainlink 1, Yama, Chainlink 2, Unchained Soul of Rage, recycle back one of the Phantom Yubels from the graveyard into the extra deck, so even if you only play 2, it's fine. And then the SC Ray doesn't have to negate the Sharvara. I'm doing this just to troll, but Sharvara has an ability, well, a drawback rather, where if it was summoned from the hand using its summoning condition or something, you are locked under feed monsters while it's on the field, but it's not like Princess where it's a continuous effect. So if you negate that, you're still locked under Fiend, so don't go thinking that you can go into like SP or whatever, like a generic Link 2, you can't. But it's not the end of the world. You can still get your Abominable Chamber, and then that can revive back the Unchained Soul of Rage, which can make the SP anyways. So it's not like this had to be something relevant. And you have Phantom of Yubel with Fiendsmith DSE Ray. All of that off of one single card, which I think is not too bad. Alright, so this is the one-card combo, and by the way, you do not need a discard, so I have no idea why the hell I have a Molchimi Aurelia in my hand. But yeah, Nightmare Throne, search the Samsara. It's actually kind of funny how Nightmare Throne plays harder into Droll than just physically drawing Samsara. So if you have Samsara and the Throne, what I recommend is going Throne, discard, destroy the Spirit of Yubel, and then summon Yubel, and then go Phantom of Yubel, and then normal summon Samsara, and if your opponent draws you at any point, you let it resolve. You don't even negate it. It doesn't even bother you that much. Yeah, anyways, normal summon, and then obviously a tribute for Spirit of Yubel, whatever. There is a little bit of a difference between this combo and the last one, just because the field spell is an additional extender on top of being a starter. There we go. At this point, you would be summoning the Terra Incarnate, and then summon Yubel, and then link off into Yama, search for the Sharvara, and we're going to be summoning the Gravescormer. We don't have to destroy anything, because, well, I mean, we don't have to control another Yubel and destroy something. It's completely unnecessary because we already have Terra Incarnate in circulation. Yeah, summon Phantom Yubel, and then Link 2, Link 1, Fiendsmith Engraver, and then equip, summon Necroquip Princess again. Pretty much the same thing at this point, but it's gonna change a little because now we're gonna be making the Caesar, and then revive back the Spirit of Yubel, destroyed with Sharvara, Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2 Yama, so summon Yubel from the deck, and also summon Spirit of Yubel, link off into Unchained Soul of Rage, set the trap card, and we're gonna be going end phase, so Samsara comes back, and we're gonna be tributing that Unchained Soul of Rage for the maintenance of Yubel, which is good for us because we wanted that Unchained Soul of Rage to hit the graveyard so that Abominable can revive it back. That way Dark Ruler doesn't really beat you. Now, there are a bunch of different ways you can play this out. You can play 2 Yamas with Escape, instead of Abominable Chamber. This makes it so that you take the Dark Ruler, but you have another Yama in the grave because you play 2. So when your opponent tries to play, then you can just chain the Escape, or at any moment, destroy the Unchained Soul of Rage, destroy something else, and then that triggers the Yama and the Unchained Soul of Rage, recycle back something, like an Engraver potentially, to give you a follow-up. And you're going to be able to summon back that Unchained Soul of Rage, link off something. And you can also end on a Varudras, because we never had to go into Muckraker in this combo, which is really good. So yeah, you have a lot of really nice options, and that's the beauty about Yubel. There's infinite ways of playing it out. But yeah, that way we have a bunch of interruptions. We got Caesar, the Trap into Unchained Soul of Rage, the Samsara, which is pretty much a monster negate, and we have the Phantom Yubel, which is also a monster negate. So in terms of quantity of interruptions, this is definitely really good. Alrighty, so yet again, another really awesome combo. Dark Beckoning Beast in any discard. Look at what you can do. So normal summon, and then get your search for Opening of the Spirit Gates. I really have to mention that this card is worded in a really weird way. So this, unfortunately, plays really hard into Droll and Logbird. Even though you might think that it plays really well into it, it doesn't. The reason for that is because Opening of the Spirit Gates reads, when this card is activated, add 1 blah 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 or blah blah blah. So this means that if you get drolled on the search of Opening of the Spirit Gates from Dark Beckoning Beast, you cannot legally activate this card. Even if you're not trying to search and you're just trying to use this Monster Reborn effect and like turn this into an Almirage and then revive back and then make Moon of the Close Sky, forget about it. You can't, because you have to search in order to activate this card. It's exactly like, you know, back in the days when people were playing set rotation with Oracle of the Zephyra and, you know, all those shitty field spells that people were giving to their opponents so that they couldn't flip them. It's the exact same concept. So yeah, watch out. Droll is really good against Dark Beckoning Beast, although it is bad against Samsara. Assuming that we don't get trolled because we're good at the game, extra normal summon for another Dark Beckoning Beast, which, by the way, is not like Ritual Beast Tamer Elder. Ritual Beast Tamer Elder grants you an additional normal summon as soon as it hits the field, so you can't Veiler a Tamer Elder to prevent it from getting an extra normal summon. Dark Beckoning Beast's effect to get you an extra normal summon is a continuous effect. So if you get negated on Dark Beckoning Beast, you can't normal summon another monster. So again, keep that in mind. It is a huge drawback with a card. Anyways, at this point, again, Necroquip Princess here. I think you're used to seeing this every single time. It's always the same thing. The fact that we have all that in the TCG really speaks volume on how better Yubel is, I want to say. Yeah, Aerial Eater, Ascend the Samsara, and we don't have to go into Muckraker to revive it back. Also, Muckraker locks you under Fiend only, so if we're trying to make the Varudras, which is a worm, we can't do that. So Opening the Spirit Gates, so we might as well use that instead of Muckraker. So discard whatever, and then revive back the Samsara, the Lotus, and then tribute, summon Spirit of Yubel. I think you can see where this is going. Set the Nightmare Pain, and then destroy that. Whether we set or add to hand, it doesn't really matter too much, because I think we already played into Droll a while back, right? Yeah, destroy the Yubel and then summon Terra Incarnate. The main reason why we do that is just to have one extra name in rotation. Yama, search Sharvara, and then shuffle back Terra Incarnate and Dark Beckoning Beast. We have 2 of them. Link off Aerial Eater and the Yama into Unchained Soul of Rage. Banish the Necroquip as well as Yubel, which we can get back from the banished anyways to revive back Aerial Eater. So for that card's graveyard effect, you gotta banish 2 level 6 or higher feed monsters with the same attribute from each other from a grave. And you revive it back, but it doesn't even get banished when it leaves the field, which is beautiful. So even if you have to use this as a link material, it's completely fine. But if you can use this as an Xyz material, it's even better, because it's a level 6 fiend, so you can make Caesar. But yeah, this is going to be, the Grave Scormer is going to be reviving back the Spirit of Yubel. And then Sharvara destroys Spirit of Yubel. And Chainlink 1, Yama or something, Chainlink 2, Spirit of Yubel. I don't even think the chain blocks, the chain links really matter that much. But yeah, make sure that you destroy the Unchained Soul of Rage, so that has to be Chainlink 2, actually, yes. Chainlink 2 Yama. So yeah, revive back Spirit of Yubel. Whatever, like, there we go. Yeah, exactly. Chainlink 1, Unchained Soul of Rage. So yeah, destroy your Unchained Soul of Rage, which then recycles back the Dark Beckoning Beast. It's just gonna be a discard fodder, so it doesn't really matter too much. And also, Sharvara is gonna be setting the Abominable Chamber. And then we can overlay for Varudras before using the effect of Muckraker, because that locks you under Fiend. And then revive back the Sharvara, and then make the Caesar. So that's a really nice board. It's Phantom Yubel, Caesar, Varudras, and Abominable Chamber to revive back the Unchained Soul of Rage. All of that off of Dark Beckoning Beast and any discard, which is, again, absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so what happens when you draw all the juice cards in the world? Well, there is usually a little bit of redundancy because you don't even need 3 cards to make a bigger board. Usually, you're gonna make like a big board with only 2 cards or sometimes even only 1 card. Dark Beckoning Beast, if it goes through, it's probably one of the best starters in the deck, but that's if it goes through. I think this card is the most vulnerable out of every hand trap out there. Samsara, or rather the field spell, or maybe actually even just Samsara, I think is like the safest one, but when you draw the field spell in any of these cards, you're chilling. You can do whatever you want. Now, by the way, I really wanted to mention that there is a huge difference between drawing Engraver and drawing Tract when you draw these kinds of hands, just because Engraver plays really hard into Droll, whereas Tract doesn't. So if I have a bunch of ways to like search right away, I would usually try to use the Tract first, and then if I get Drolled, that's fine. I can still, you know, rush to a Caesar, etc. Or like not even, like just do whatever I want with the Fiendsmith package. And if I don't get Drolled, then I know that Dark Beckoning Beast into Samsara is a good play. So that's how I try to sniff hand traps, by using cards that are just a little safer and guarantee something through a Droll, because Droll, I think, is going to be really scary this format. Anyways, normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast, because regardless of how you play this one out, you're probably going to lose to a Droll unless you normal summon Samsara and kind of just play it as a 1-card combo hand, but then your Dark Beckoning Beast doesn't do jack shit. But yeah, opening of the Spirit Gates, extra normal summon this time for Samsara, so we don't have to go Aerial Eater, send the Samsara. This combo is going to be a little different. And then now we're paying, destroy the Spirit of Yubel, Surge the Squirmer, and then obviously summon Yubel. Summon the Squirmer, there we go, I've seen this before, again. Summon to Incarnate, and then link off into Unchained Soul King of Yama, Surge the Sharvara, and then Unchained Soul of Rage, revive back the Spirit of Yubel, and then summon Phantom of Yubel at this point by shuffling back the Samsara as well as Yubel. Sharvara destroy, and then Chainlink 1, Chainlink 2, so summon Yubel from the deck with Spirit of Yubel, and then revive back the Spirit of Yubel with Yama, and then we can also destroy our own Nightmare Pain and recycle it back. That way we're pretty much bouncing back a card so that if we get hit by evenly, that resolves. We have like more of a follow-up in our hand in a way. But we don't have to do that necessarily, and also if we had like other continuous spells that we can use as discard fodder, then it's just going to be a free recycle back. So if you had like a, I don't know, I mean, I can't really think of anything in my head, but whatever. If you had like a Summoning Curse, which you're obviously not trying to play, there you go. But yeah, Link 1, summon the Fiendsmith, and then, whoa, look at that, Necrocrypt Princess for the 10th billionth time. Engraver, speaking of the devil, and then Necrocrypt, draw 1, doesn't matter what you draw. And then track this, discard the Lowry, and then revive back that, and then opening of the Spirit Gates, revive back anything, and then make the sequence using those 2 monsters. Fuse for 3 for the DSE Ray, and then a Fiendsmith, revive back itself, and then make the Caesar, and then you can go sequence, target the DSE Ray. And that's pretty much like every interruption that you can think of, so it's Phantom Yubel with Varudras, and then the DSE Ray, Caesar, and Abominable Chamber to revive back the Unchained Soul of Rage. And you got a couple of cards in your hand, so that's pretty cool. I mean, it physically looks really good and beautiful. I mean, Yubel is just gorgeous, right? I mean, she's extremely ugly, but the deck itself is gorgeous. Well, I mean, destroying people with the deck is beautiful, but losing to this deck is, nah. Alrighty, so for the deck profile, we're playing a lot of hand traps because we're trying to not lose going second, right? So we can main deck Droll or Molchummy. I think it's one or the two. I don't think they can really coexist in a harmony together. I don't really think that's gonna work. What are you gonna do? Molchummy standby, and then your opponent's gonna be like, okay, I'll activate Fiendsmith Engraver, and you're gonna be like, change rule. There you go. You're pretty much hand looping yourself for 2 cards for free. Anyways, 3 Ghost Ogre, 3 Ash, 3 Impermanent, and 3 Bestials. So I'll explain that briefly. Ghost Ogre, I think, overall is just a really good card. It can be used as a board breaker, so you can destroy DSE Ray. By the way, I think on whatever yesterday's video, I was mentioning how Ghost Ogre could always be used as a board breaker to destroy like Apo and stuff. And people were like, what are you talking about Apo? Swear to God. People who watch my videos sometimes, y'all need to get like Examinator or something. But yeah, Ghost Ogre can still be used as a board breaker, just like it could before. You can destroy IP Masquerena, you can destroy the DSE Ray, which also kind of negates it because it has to check for the link rating of the monsters equipped to it. And if the monster is no longer on the field, then obviously it doesn't really have anything else to check. So yeah, Ghost Ogre is just really good. Even to draw as a 6 card, it's not the end of the world. I think it's a very nice hand trap overall. And it's kind of bad against Ritual Beast, but sometimes it can be good against like the Ritual Beast Inheritance, the continuous spell, if they really have to rely on that to get their engine started, because Prosperity is at 1, so the deck is a little less consistent now. 3 Ash, because obviously that's the God card, it stops Branded Fusion and just about everything that you can think of, and then 3 Imperm, because, yeah, it's very similar Reasoning as Ghost Ogre, you can draw it as a 6 card and it's very nice. Bestials, I mean, they're either a way to push when, let's say you go normal summon Dark Beckoning Beast effect, you get Impermed, and then you link off into El Mirage, and then you can Bestial yourself, your own Dark Beckoning Beast, and then you have 2 bodies on the field, so that you can make Moon of the Close Sky, link 1, and then Necro Clip, and then make the sequence, and then fuse for Aerial Eater, send Samsara, Muckraker, Revive Back, Nightmare Spirit of Yubel, Nightmare Pain, etc. So you can still full combo using any 2 monsters. So that's the reason why just having more nice extenders is good. And if they can behave as hand traps, that's even better. So you got like a 91.9% chance, I think, of drawing 1 hand trap when you're playing 15 in a 40 card deck. And as for the 1 card starters, we're playing a lot. So 3 Darkbane Beast and 1 Opening of the Spirit Gates, which is also a 1 card starter because we play Salamander El Mirage. So if you only have that and let's say 4 hand traps, you go Opening of the Spirit Gates, search Dark Beckoning Beast, normal summon, and then you can't search anything else because we don't play the Chaos Summoning Beast, that card sucks. And then you're going to be linking off into El Mirage, and then use the effect of Opening, discard something, Revive Back, and then make Moon of the Close Sky, and then Muckraker play with Samsara, etc., with Aerial Eater. So yeah, again, it's very nice. This deck is, again, like I said, very consistent and very enjoyable to play. You have a lot of options. 3 Samsara with 1 1-for-1, 4 Field Spells, 3 Engraver, 2 Tract, because Tract is a very good card itself, and then the 1 Luri, and then 3, or rather the 7 Bricks, in a way, kind of. But these 3 aren't even that much of bricks. Like, drawing Sharvara doesn't bother me, it's a good discard fodder, because you can recur it back from the graveyard to your hand anyways with Yama. So I'm never in a position where I'm like, oh, I drew Sharvara, that's so ass. It's really not the end of the world, and sometimes drawing it can be good, because your opponent holds the Imperm for your Spirit of Yubel, so you can either dodge with Grave Squirmer or Sharvara. It's very similar to Farking High Avatar Kirin in the Farking deck. Really punishes your opponent for using interruptions on something other than Samsara and Dark Beckoning Beast. So if your opponent tries to hold the Emperor for too long, it can really hurt when you chain these 2 cards. And yeah, the one of Nightmare Pain, this card's not great to hard draw, but you can also side Mature Chronicle, so that when you draw this, then you can also still search this with Spirit of Yubel. And this card, honestly, is very good against the grindy matchup, so I still recommend it. And the 3 bricks, honestly, I don't really see a world in which you need to play any more of them, so I think 1 of each of them is fine. And then either Abominable Chamber or Escape. It's really up to you. For the extra deck, I think the majority of it is really standard. If anything, people are really just debating on whether they should play El Mirage or something else. But the other 14 cards, everybody plays them for the most part. So yeah, Aerial Eater, you need this. Necro Clip, you need it. The SE Ray, you probably need it. And then the Link 1, the Link 2, Moon of the Close Sky, Caesar, Verudras, double Phantom of Yubel. You could also go with 3 Phantom of Yubel instead of the El Mirage. The Yama, the Unchained Soul of Rage, SP, Muckraker, and I guess the most flexible spot, which is El Mirage. Everything else you really just need at 100%. For the idea section, like I said, Escape, I keep talking about this card. It's because that's what a lot of people are doing right now, and it's a very good combo. It gets you an additional interruption, so even against decks like Flunderies that are not scared of Caesar and Unchained Soul of Rage, you can still destroy their field spell or something, and that can get you a little bit of value. And also Recursion with the Unchained Soul of Rage, so overall it's really good. The second Yama, again, Ptolemium 7, which I think is copium. You don't need it for, honestly, anything, except for like some minor combos, but it's just a huge waste of an extra deck. And the extra deck is like the tightest thing in the world for anything that plays Fiendsmith. It's crazy. Machine X is not too bad against Flunderies, because if you can make a Caesar, then you can just make a Machine X on top. And that's basically double interruption against Flunderies. They go normal summon Rabina, you go attach, and then normal summon Eaglin, effect, attach, and then they pretty much die. And the birds will all go to the graveyard, which is not too bad. Because you're attaching them and then you're detaching them, so, you know, it's not like they're leaving the field while being face up on the field. Anyways, more hand traps, I guess. Nibiru Phantasme has nice synergy with Baldric, so why not? And also it gets you bodies on the field so that you can make Moon of the Close Sky earlier. Some Archfiend cards that you can benefit off of either the Fiendsmith engine or Aerial Eater. So Aerial Eater can send Archfiend Iris, and then you can search symbol Archfiends. Or you can search Archfiend Eccentric, well, either with Archfiend Iris or with Tractus, because it is a Light Fiend monster, and it is a searchable out of Floodgates, or even cards like Vanity's Fiend, out of nowhere. And then some more going first cards, or I guess some going first cards, so Triple Tactic Talon, Crossout. Crossout is really good against both hand traps and board breakers, so you can play 3 Crossout with 1 Dark Ruler, and you can also play the Droplet if you want to cross out this, but it's a little harder to do, honestly, because sometimes they can do Droplet, send a spell, a monster, and a trap so that you can't respond with anything. And yeah, finally Cosmic Cyclone, which is an absolute necessity in the side deck. And honestly, this format, this card is MVP. It's really, really good. it still covers so much ground, and it fixes a lot of issues for these kinds of decks. Because I really can't imagine this deck having to grind with a bunch of back rows, a bunch of floodgates, and a runic fountain. It's gonna be a nightmare. And Mature Chronicle is one of the best cards at helping you do that, because it has an effect where you can remove 2 counters and recycle back any of your banished cards to your hand. So the Runic engine, the Runic deck rather, they will be banishing a lot of cards from your deck, and you just keep summoning Yubel monsters, and every single turn you recycle back a banished card. So if they banish your Cosmic Cyclone, they're almost making you search it, which is really cool. So very nice interaction when a game is very grindy. Mature Chronicle is just, it's honestly one of the best cards for you. Anyways, that's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know how you feel about Yubel, this format, in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys very soon. Peace.